Chun Xiang did not take them out. Instead, he took out a Tianshan holy fruit. Long Shui snatched the Tianshan holy fruit and immediately began to wolf it down. It was as if he had been starved for tens of thousands of years. A saint fruit was easily taken care of by Long Shui, but she felt that it was not enough and looked at Chun Xiang greedily. I don't have that much for now, but I've decided to focus on cultivating the alive slain method. You'll have something to eat then. Chun Xiang used all his strength to pinch her face, but not for long before he slapped her away. Where did the divine deity on you come from? How did you get the sacred heart fruit? And how did you get here? Long Shui asked a series of questions. Lung Yulan came over to the two of them and sat down, hugging her knees. She quietly listened, too. My divine deity is the killing god heart. The sacred heart fruit was given to me by Jiang Sheng. I used the power of the spatial laws to come here, and my master Huang Jintian helped me figure out the location of the Yulan. Chun Xiang laughed. Little naughty dragon. I never thought that you would actually be a heavenly dragon supreme lord. You're really amazing. Long Shui originally wanted to ask Chun Xiang a few more questions, but seeing that Chun Xiang found out that she was from heavenly dragon supreme lord, he suddenly said arrogantly, "Humph. Now you know how powerful I am. Kind little scoundrel, if this dragon emperor didn't have any ambitions back then, and if it wasn't for the fact that Qi Shi, that giant lion, was scolding the heavens, I stomped my feet on the ground, he would have already been scared out of his wits. Don't forget, you can have your day just because you want to eat and drink with me." Chun Xiang curled his lips. It's your honor to serve this dragon emperor, not to mention the many benefits I've given you. Long Shui glared at Chun Xiang. The hidden bitterness in her eyes suddenly became a bit tender. It could be seen that during the time she had left Chun Xiang, she was very much in love with Chun Xiang. Little scoundrel, you can't leave me in the future. Long Shui could not control his sudden rush of emotions and threw himself into Chun Xiang's embrace, hugging him tightly. I'm not used to it without you. Chun Xiang laughed, caressed her back, and then looked at Lung Yulan and laughed. Lung Yulan was not as naive as she was in the past. No matter how naive she could still tell what was going on between her and her brother, the white dragon ancestor. Then hurry up and give me a holy fruit. I'm really hungry, Long Shui said as she looked pitifully at Chun Xiang. Not now, but after a while. Chun Xiang kissed her forehead. Humph. Long Shui grunted, and then asked what he wanted to ask. When you saw Jiang Sheng, he was the one who helped you fuse your divine deity. Shui, I just answered you 3 questions. Now you should also answer mine first. Chun Xiang said. Sure, ask away. Long Shui left Chun Xiang's embrace and went behind Lung Yulan to comb her long hair. Where did your divine deity come from? And why are you hiding here? Chun Xiang asked. I thought you guys would attack Heavenly Dragon Race, but I never thought Heavenly Dragon Race would bring a large group of sky dragons to Dtion. Lung Yulan and Long Shui both frowned. That dog's hit dragon emperor actually went to Dtion. He wants to attack Evil Dragon Graveyard. Lung Yulan asked anxiously. If the attack didn't succeed, they would have run away eventually. Let me tell you about this later. Chun Xiang looked at Long Shui. He really wanted to know whether Long Shui was still going to pursue the divine deity that Qi Shi borrowed. Long Shui said, That's not a divine deity. It's a supreme dragon blood. The Azure Dragon, Ice Dragon, and I all have this thing, but it was stolen away by the Ice Dragon, and my supreme dragon blood only reacted when I came here. After the supreme dragon blood was formed, it was more or less the same as divine deity. My supreme dragon blood was awakened here, and then I successfully solidified it here. I plan to give a bit to Yulan so that she can have the supreme dragon blood seed. That way, it would be much easier for her to condense her divine deity in the future. Long Shui laughed. Yulan can now control the power of her white dragon. Her hair can turn black. So that's how it is. No wonder you guys didn't make any move at all. Chun Xiang looked at the 2 girls with gratitude. They were getting along really well, and there was nothing wrong right now. Shui, I already know that 10 Heavens Supreme Lord borrowed your divine deity. Are you still going to pursue him? Chun Xiang asked. This guy is already dead. How am I supposed to investigate? After Long Shui finished speaking, he suddenly thought of something. Wait, is he still alive? He's still alive, but your divine deity is already over. The reason he was able to revive is because of the remnant spirit he stored in the green dragon demon-slain broadsword many years ago. Xianxia said, this bastard actually lost my divine deity. I'll definitely investigate him. Long Shui gritted his teeth in anger. He stood up and shouted through gritted teeth. Come. Take me to him. I want him to compensate me with divine deity. Xianxia anxiously pulled her along. He is poor now and his strength is not what it was in the past. Other than his life, what else do you want him to compensate you with? That's right, this bastard is a scoundrel in the first place. To have this day, he truly deserves it. Back then, if I knew that he was courting death in hell, I wouldn't have lent him my divine deity. Long Shui was very angry. He was suppressed in hell for many years. Xianxia said, That's great. I want to throw him to hell right now. Long Shui said angrily. He said he was going to compensate you with some of the fruit. Xianxia said again. That's more like it. When Long Shui heard this, his anger dissipated by a lot. Afterwards, Xianxia told him about Bai Yaowei and Elvision. Knowing that Bai Yuyu's master was still alive, Long Shui was happy for them, especially for Bai Yuyu, whose father was still alive. As expected of Di Tian, he actually gathered so many emperors in one go. She now knew many secrets. Flower Emperor's father really was the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable, and there was also the matter between the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord and Long Shui. Brother, Sister Shui, with your current strength, are you able to deal with Heavenly Dragon Race and help Sister Hui Shan's Ice Dragon Race snatch back the supreme dragon blood of the Ice Dragon? Leng Yulan asked. Although Long Shui liked to brag, she wasn't arrogant. She sighed. It's a little difficult. Heavenly Dragon Race's strength is not weak. This group of old fellows originally divided the supreme dragon blood between the Ice Dragon and helped them develop their divine deity. They probably worried about Qishur, which was why Dragon Emperor fled far away. This is their base camp, and a few old dragons with divine deity are all here. It would be difficult for us to deal with them, so I plan to let Yulan have the supreme dragon blood first. Oh yeah, I met a fire unicorn here. Xianxia told Long Shui how he and Huang Jintian saw the fire unicorn. Long Shui was also an ancient holy beast. He should know about the fire unicorn. Having divine deity does not necessarily mean they are divine beasts. For example, those old Sky Dragon and Dragon Emperor who snatched away the Ice Dragon Supreme Dragon Blood all have the same thing as the divine deity. I still have an entire Supreme Dragon Blood and you also have the divine deity, but none of us can be considered gods. Long Shui said. But that fire unicorn is really powerful. I feel like that guy is much stronger than the Dragon Emperor. Xianxia asked, Why is he here? Long Shui pondered for a while, then said, Back then, this guy disappeared a long time ago. It seems like he was condensing his divine deity right now. Not only did he succeed, he also possessed the power to enter the god's realm. This heavenly dragon realm was originally called the Heavenly Beast Domain, but it was taken over by those dragons, so he changed his name. I think that my dragon soul was born here and entered the 9-heaven world at the end. Long Shui said, So, it's best for beasts to come here to cultivate. The sky turned bright, and the cave became even brighter. There was no uncomfortable light that was reflected from inside, and it was actually very comfortable inside. These white mountains are very similar to the devil-killing summit. What exactly is going on? Xianxia lied on the soft and comfortable beast skin carpet and praised in satisfaction as he looked at the white rocks on top of the stone room. Long Shui said, I'm not too sure either, but Yulan and I will still be here for the time being, until we help Yulan develop the White Dragon's supreme dragon blood. Xianxia laughed. I will stay here to accompany you all. All right, my master is still in the ring. Huang Jintian stayed very comfortably in the ring, and Xianxia let him out. When Leng Yulan saw Huang Jintian, he respectfully saluted him. Respected his elder's words very much. Little girl, your hair is turning black. That means you can already control the powerful white dragon's power. Huang Jintian chuckled, then looked towards Long Shui. You are that heavenly dragon supreme lord. Old man from the undead race. I have always been curious how long you have lived. Long Shui asked. Well, I'm not too sure either. Huang Jintian shook his head and laughed. From what I know, the undead race should be the earliest human. When I was wandering in the nine-heaven world, I only knew that there was one person left in the undead race, and he was much older than me. Long Shui looked at Huang Jintian. Even if undead race is heavily injured, he still won't die, and it's hard to erase his soul. At most, he will lose his memories and be reborn, and will never die. I heard that in order to prevent their memories from disappearing, the undead race had a type of thing that specifically preserved their memories, fusing with their souls. Xianxia poked Huang Jintian. Master, that ancient book of yours should be that kind of thing. Huang Jintian curled his lips. I'm not too sure either. I just think that I've died a few times, and that it's probably the same as what you said. Master, I'm going to stay here for a while. If you want to go back, I'll send you back. Xianxia said. Huang Jintian lowered his head and thought for a moment. I better not go back. It's not easy to come to this heavenly dragon realm. I want to stroll around here. Weren't you scared to death when you came here before? Why are you wandering around here now? Xianxia looked at him contemptuously. How could I be scared to death? I'm not going to die. I'm going to die. Huang Jintian laughed and patted Xianxia's head. It's daytime now, right? I want to try and see just how powerful these white mountains are. This is for you. When you guys are about to leave, send me a message. He handed over a communication jade symbol paper to Xianxia. Xianxia and the other two sent Huang Jintian to the entrance of the cave and warned him repeatedly to not go near the territory of the heavenly dragon race or to look for the fire unicorn. The matters regarding the evil dragon graveyard had already been resolved, and the other great emperors of the heaven realm didn't dare to act rashly. Xianxia now had the time to cultivate the alive slain method and condense spirit liquid that could help him replicate even faster. Long Shui was cultivating in that place just like before. She was separating a little bit of supreme dragon blood so it wouldn't affect her, but after fusing with Lang Yulan, it would be extremely useful to him. Lang Yulan, on the other hand, was on patrol outside the cave and occasionally trained. She was the same as Long Shui right now. She had become fond of eating those high-ranked immortal fruits. Shui, how was Dan Emperor's strength back then? Xianxia was very curious about this, because the path of the Dan Emperor was his future path. Very strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't be the Dan Emperor's senior Dan. That guy was extremely rich back then, refining some high-level sacred pills in exchange for a large amount of precious items from our hands. Long Shui said, forget about back then, even now, there are not many alchemists that can refine a holy pellet, so if you can, there will definitely be a place for you in the new great emperor in the future. Long Shui also hoped that Xianxia's pill refining skills would reach the standard of the Dan Emperor. At that time, she would be able to eat a lot of holy pills, but with her current strength, the immortal pills were only sugar beans to her. It would be fine to use them to satisfy her craving. But using them to increase her strength would have no effect. You trained in the alive slain method, but did those creation divine liquid improve? Long Shui asked. Your strength is already so strong now, you should have improved a little, right? No, not as good as LV Chilean. If I were to consult her and let her share of my cultivation experience, she might have a big breakthrough. Xianxia sighed. No wonder 10 Heaven's Supreme Lord didn't practice this alive slain method much back then. It's so difficult. Oh right, did you take LV Chilean in as a female slave? Long Shui suddenly laughed lightly and looked outside the cave. Lang Yulan had already gone out to patrol. However, I did cultivate the God's Join method with her, and just after cultivating for a short period of time, she was able to suddenly soar in power. After a few months, she has already become extremely powerful. Xianxia had an expression of disbelief. Humph, I didn't think that you would be using the God's Join method with another woman. She might have been stuck in the divine way for a long time, unable to break through any bottlenecks, and just so happened to be able to help her pass through the God's join method when you were cultivating with her, thus she advanced by leaps and bounds. Many experts in the later stages of the divine path are stuck in the divine way because they all have to walk the divine way in the end. Xianxia suddenly laughed sinisterly. It's been a long time since we've trained with the God's join method. Now that we're all so strong, how about we give it a try? Sure. Long Shui was also very curious as he said excitedly. But you have to stay in that corner. We cannot get too close to each other, or else you will act recklessly. It would be bad if you were seen by Yulan. Xianxia and Long Shui sat in separate corners, respectively. Then, they began the process of soul fusion, causing their bodies to be surrounded by a faint silver glow. The energy within the White Mountain was swiftly being absorbed by them. When Lung Yulan came back from outside and saw the two of them cultivating far away, she was unable to understand what was going on. She had rested here for more than an hour, and when she went out, she would sometimes hunt some holy beasts for Long Shui to eat. Xianxia and Long Shui had cultivated the God's join method for an entire day, and only after the effects had gradually weakened did they finally stop and then began their separate cultivation. Of course, the greatest benefit they had gained was the feeling of comfort and satisfaction in their minds. If Lung Yulan wasn't here, Xianxia really wanted to try cultivating it. Xianxia cultivated the alive slain method and meditated on it for 2 days. He did not make any progress. If he wanted to reach LV Chilian's level, it would definitely take many years, but he could not wait that long. Long Shui's cultivation just needed to sleep and eat, so she was not too familiar with this aspect. At most, she could point out a general direction and it would not be of much help to Xianxia. Why, you look upset. Long Shui entered Xianxia's divine sense C and saw Xianxia's soul frowning as he sat there. This alive slain method is too complicated. I feel that it is much harder to cultivate than any other killing techniques. Xianxia's soul opened his eyes, looked at the little world inside divine sense C, and let out a long sigh. Long Shui's soul floated over and landed in his arms. Of course, the heaven-earth killing method you cultivated in the past, you have some experience with the 10 Heavens Supreme Lord, but this guy only knows how to fight all day. The alive slain method does not seem to be of much use to him. He does not cultivate much. Xianxia lowered his head and kissed Long Shui's cherry lips, then rubbed Long Shui's stomach and asked, "Then how can I quickly grasp the alive slain method now? I really want to quickly feed you, this little naughty dragon's stomach." When the time came, she would be able to quickly replicate a large number of holy fruits. Thinking of all these, she licked her lips and swallowed her saliva. Go find LV Chilian. He is cultivating the God's join method with her. It will be of great help to her. You can let her teach you the cultivation experience of the alive slain method. When the time comes, you just need to enter her divine sense C and you will understand. Long Shui laughed sinisterly. This kind of thing happens a second time. Little naughty dragon, you're not jealous. Xianxia lightly pinched her butt. I've already eaten enough, so I don't mind eating more. Long Shui scoffed. I'm going back now, and then I'll come back. Xianxia also felt that finding LV Chilian would allow him to learn the alive slain method a little faster. Don't you know how to use the heaven tour method and the spatial laws to return? Even in the heaven realm, the highest realm of the heaven tour method is capable of allowing a soul to roam to the 9 heaven world. Long Shui said, as long as you can travel through space, you can use a wisp of your divine soul to find LV Chilian. Once you have a precise location, you can just bring the entire divine soul over. I've been wanting to try this method for a long time. It can save energy and is also very safe. Xianxia chuckled, then closed his eyes and channeled his divine power to condense the power of the spatial laws. Through his perception of space, he opened a small hole, allowing his soul consciousness to travel to Dition. Xianxia did not immediately go to Dition's Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Instead, he went there to look for Xianxia and Lu Menger. The ice dragon race's defense was still strong enough that even a strand of Xianxia's soul could block it, preventing Xianxia from entering that ice dragon villa. I can only use the old method. Xianxia allowed that strand of his soul to drift outside the ice dragon villa, waiting for his acquaintances to come in and out. As domineering as ever, She wore a set of white ice armor and held a white long sword in her hand. She looked very much like a ice dragon sword, which Xianxia guessed was probably created by Xianxia himself. Since the return of those old ice dragons, Long Huishan had also received more than half of the ice dragon's inheritance. She had shared many of the ice dragon's inheritance, so the old ice dragons had always placed great importance on her. Big Sis Long. Xianxia's soul flew over and whispered to Long Huishan. Bro. Long Huishan looked around, but did not see a trace of Xianxia. Come out quickly. There's no need to be so sneaky now, you little rascal. Don't tell me you're used to using this kind of sneaky methods? Didn't you go to the heavenly dragon realm? Why did you come back? Xianxia laughed. I am right in heavenly dragon realm, and have just recovered from my trance. Quickly take me in. I want to look for elder sister Menger and Xianxia. Then, you can enter my divine sense C. Long Huishan relaxed his mind and allowed Xianxia to enter her divine sense C. After Long Huishan obtained the inheritance of the ice dragon, she started to cultivate her divine way. Her progress was extremely fast, and when Xianxia saw that her divine sense C was covered in snow and ice, he knew that she had already reached a very profound level in her divine way and could condense the god wind. So cold, Xianxia shouted. I only need to stroke my soul a little, it will freeze to death. At this time, he saw Long Huishan's divine soul floating over. She wore a light, long skirt, and flew slowly across the snow and ice, just like a goddess who had descended to the mortal world. She did not have the domineering aura of the female dragon king she used to have in the future. You can actually use the Heaven Tour method to return here from the realm of Flame Heaven. Long Huishan was a little surprised. Looks like your Heaven Tour method realm is very high. No. I only came here because I opened a spatial passageway. Xianxia came over to his side and steadied his mind. He smiled. Big sister, you're so beautiful now. I really want to hug you. If you want to hug me, then bring your real body back. I'll give it to you at any time. Long Huishan laughed mischievously. You little scoundrel, could it be that you want to scheme against me? How could she not know about Xianxia's playfulness? However, she actually had a little bit of anticipation towards this, since she had a very good feeling about Xianxia after all, and Xianxia was also the man closest to her. Xianxia giggled. He had already been embraced by Long Huishan. Although it was just a touch, it was still a very real feeling. Long Huishan brought Xianxia's soul into the villa and arrived in a large mountain. Lu Menger and Xianxia were currently master refiners of the ice dragon race. My ice dragon sword was created by them. Long Huishan was extremely satisfied with the imitation ice dragon sword in his hand. Other than the special ice dragon's power that had not been supplemented by the ice dragon, the other aspects were no different from the ice dragon's holy sword that was in Xianxia's hands. The few of them. Xianxia was a little curious. Aren't there only Meng Air and Xianxia? There's also Warm Moon and Jing Air. Long Huishan's soul looked at Xianxia with contempt. Jinger is your recognized sister. As for Dongfang Xinue, it feels like she and you have an even closer relationship, but the two of you don't seem to be together. Oh, this. She's my slave. She's with master-servant contract. Xianxia laughed dryly. She did this on her own accord, and I have never treated her like a female slave. What about Lingling, how is she now? Xianxia asked. Xin Lingling was his recognized sister. He had not seen her for a long time, and this made him feel ashamed. Now she's normal. The Immortal King's strength is the same as Jing Air's. Both of them are refining pills. Don't worry. These two girls are your sisters and also my sisters. I will take good care of them. Long Huishan laughed and said, You are really amazing, to be able to find so many good little sisters. Yulan, Lingling, Jinger, and Xianxiang. They are all very obedient, so why can't I find them? Xianxiang laughed. Didn't you find me to be a good brother? With me, you don't have to worry about not having a sister anymore. And you are also a good sister. Little scoundrel, humph. Long Huishan snorted. At the moment she was already in the belly of the mountain. There was a large stone room in the center, with a gigantic cauldron placed in the middle. Isn't this a divine cauldron? Xiang remembered that he had given the divine cauldron to Xianxia. The stone room was empty, but a powerful heat was coming out from the divine furnace, as though it was being refined. Xiang had already gave the vermilion bird skeleton to Xianxia, allowing him to refine the Suzaku divine weapon for him. Where are they? Xiang did not see anyone here. He should be bathing. Should I take you to see it? Long Huishan laughed. All right, hurry up. Xiang shouted excitedly. Good my ass, don't you dare go anywhere. Before they come out, your soul will stay here obediently. Long Huishan's soul had treated him like a dead man. Not to mention that this strand of his soul was very weak. In the face of Long Huishan's powerful soul, he seemed very weak. Of course, if his powerful soul came over and entered Long Huishan's divine sense, he could very possibly control Long Huishan's divine sense. Where's the old Jiang? Wasn't he responsible for refining my Suzaku Bao? Where did he go? Xiang did not see Xianxia. There was only the divine cauldron that he gave to Xianxia. Ask your little fairy. I'm not too sure either. He and 10 Heavens Supreme Lord are often not here. Long Huishan said. A stone door opened, and the pure and charming Dongfang Jing and the cute and mischievous Xin Lingling walked out. The two of them were the same height, wearing the same clothes, and looked like two sisters, with a sweet and gentle smile on their faces. Although they were not young girls anymore, and their bodies released a mature aura, in Xiang's eyes, they were still two innocent girls. Big sis, didn't you want to go out? Why are you here? Dongfang Jing asked. She was no longer as foolish as she was back then, and when Xiang thought back to her silly appearance, he couldn't help but smile. Your brother is here, Long Huishan said. Hearing that Xiang had arrived, Dongfang Jing and Xin Lingling were immediately overjoyed, and then looked around. Where's Big Brother? Why haven't we seen him? Dongfang Jing looked around the hall with anticipation and longing with her watery eyes. Xin Lingling was also the same. She did not see Xiang's figure, but her watery eyes were filled with disappointment. Silly girl, he's only here because of his soul. You can't see him, but he can still chat with him, and his main body is still in Heavenly Dragon Realm. Long Huishan smiled and patted their heads. Where are Xianxia and the rest? They are resting inside. Brother, can you hear us? We missed you. She wanted to see Xiang very much. She already knew that Xiang had killed the Divine Devil Cult Lord, and that her father had been killed by the disciples of the Divine Devil Cult at that time. I miss you guys a lot too. Wait a minute, I'll appear right now. When Xiang saw the two little girls, deep thoughts filled his mind. Long Huishan felt that Xiang's soul had disappeared, and frowned. Why did he leave? What does he want to do? Inside Heavenly Dragon Realm, Xiang said to Long Shui, I'm going back for a while. It's been a while since I saw those girls. If Yulan is back, tell her. Go quickly. It's also good to see them. Long Shui nodded, and his soul left Xiang's divine sense. Xiang immediately channeled the power of the spatial laws. Just now, his soul had already went to the Ice Dragon Villa, and he could directly travel to that place right now. Xin Lingling and Dongfang Jing shouted lightly at Xiang. At this time, Shui Xianxian, Lu Menger and Dongfang Xinhua all came out, and after knowing that Xiang had returned and left, they immediately scolded. Since Xiang did not come to find them after returning from the Absolute Monarch Sanctuary, they had a lot of grudges against him. Lu Menger and Dongfang Xinhua were currently comforting Xin Lingling and Dongfang Jing. The mature and charming girls were seniors in the eyes of these two girls, and only the resentful Shui Xianxian was complaining non-stop. Suddenly, a strong spatial ripple appeared in the cave. Long Huishan hurried to the girls' side and released an ice shield to protect them. She was worried that something might happen. Space distorted crazily and a blurry figure fell out from the distorted space. Then, space regained its stability. Xiang gasped as he laid on the ground and shouted, It's really not easy to come back from the heaven realm. Big brother. Dongfang Jing and Xin Lingling shouted in pleasant surprise. They then moved to Xiang's side like the wind, and supported Xiang up. Chun Xiang opened his arms wide and helped them up as he laughed nonstop. Jing Jing, Ling Ling. You guys are getting more and more beautiful. Chun Xiang laughed and caressed their cheeks. Xianxia hurriedly walked over and looked at Chun Xiang with hidden bitterness. You still remember us? I thought you had lost your memories. How could that be? Even if I lose my memories, I won't forget you. You have already been branded in my soul. Chun Xiang laughed very much as he hugged Xianxia and kissed her cheeks. After all, Lu Menger was the elder of all the girls. Her expression was extremely virtuous and demure as she smiled slightly. It's good that you're back. You guys take your time. I still have things to do. Long Huishan waved his hand and walked out of the cave. Dongfang Xinyue's beautiful eyes carried a smile as she looked at Chun Xiang with her silky eyes. Although she did not say anything, her eyes caused Chun Xiang's heart to tremble. It had been a long time since Chun Xiang last saw this beautiful female slave. She was together with Hua Xiangyue often. Chun Xiang followed the few girls into a stone room, which was their small hall. The fragrance was pleasant and cozy. They had been refining here all year round, and this mountain had become their residence. Although it was simple, it was very comfortable. Big brother, are you tired? Let me help you with your shoulders. Shin Lingling smiled and walked behind Chun Xiang, gently patting his shoulders. She had been trained to serve others before, and although she was a free woman now, she was still very grateful to him. That was why she was always good to others when she came here, so Xianxia and the others were treated very well by her. Don't be so gentle. Chun Xiang did not want to reject Shin Lingling either. He was worried that he would make him unhappy. When Chun Xiang came, the few girls originally wanted to serve him with some good things, but when Chun Xiang sat down, they immediately brought out a bunch of immortal fruits, fruit juices, and tea made from immortal grades flowers. It was arranged all over the table. Xianxia rudely grabbed a few of them and threw them over to Lu Menger and the others. How long will you be back? Lu Menger lightly chewed on the fruit, looking extremely elegant and beautiful as he ate. Dongfang Xinyue was the same, but like Lang Yulan, she wolfed down her food like a child. Chun Xiang watched the girls eat with interest. To him, this was also a type of enjoyment. A few days, I still have something important to do. I found Yulan at Heavenly Dragon Realm, but she is cultivating on there and can't come back for the time being. Chun Xiang said. When talking about Lang Yulan, Xianxia had some very doubtful things to say. Xianxia asked, the woman who brought Yulan away that day said that she was a very high elder of the dragon subduing school. She is indeed very strong, and Yulan is also willing to follow her. I remember seeing her once before. Who is she? All right, I don't have to hide it from you guys now. You should know a bit about the Yulan. Chun Xiang said. Lu Menger and Xianxia were the most clear of each other, because they had spent the most time with Yulan, and Dongfang Jing had also spent some time with Lang Yulan, but felt that Lang Yulan was a very powerful older sister who was very good to them, only that he was a little violent. He liked to find them to fight and train their combat abilities. It was possible that Dongfang Xinyue and her have master-servant contract, so she wasn't too concerned about these things. She only knew how to get along with her own master and mistress. Before she left, she told us that she possessed white dragon vein, and said that she trusted that woman greatly. The extremely intelligent Xianxia was able to quickly guess a few things. She had already found out Long Xue's identity after receiving the secret assistance of the white dragon. It's a white dragon? Lu Menger asked. Chun Xiang nodded. Very impressive white dragon. Named Long Xue. She knows a lot about me, so she knows you all very well. Xianxia scoffed. No wonder she called out our names the moment she saw us, as if we were acquaintances. Didn't Bai Long have his enmity with the Imperial Dragon race? Could it be that they went to the Heavenly Dragon Realm to seek revenge? Lu Menger was suddenly worried. She had long known that she was hiding a woman inside Chun Xiang's body. She had secretly taught her the Vermilion Bird divine arts, and now she saw Long Xue as the woman who had passed down the techniques to her. Of course not, they just wanted to probe the strength of the Heavenly Dragon race, but they had gained a lot from it. Chun Xiang did not want to talk too much about Lang Yulan and Long Xue. Their supreme dragon blood were extremely precious. Right, "Where's Senior Jiang?" Xianxia asked. "He left a long time ago. He only gave us some pointers on how to refine the Suzaka Bao and then left the divine cauldron here for us to discuss," Dongfang Jing said. She had already eaten 2 immortal fruits, and it was obvious that she liked the taste of the immortal fruit. Xianxia laughed. "The 4 symbols divine weapons will be gathered soon. I wonder what will happen then." Xianxia shook his head. "Actually, there are 5 types of divine weapons and even Qilin divine weapons. I met a divine beast in Heavenly Dragon Realm. If I want to find the materials, I can only think of this Qilin." We did indeed find a portion of the Qilin divine weapon blueprint in that book. As for the remaining parts, we still need to continue studying them. Dongfang Xinyue opened her mouth and said. Her voice was still as gentle as ever. "Bring out your green dragon demon-slain broadsword for us to see. We want to copy it and practice using this method. Just right now, if we want to refine a Suzaka Bao, we still need to improve in many ways." Lu Menger rested her chin on her hand, her beautiful eyes rippling as she looked at Xianxia, looking very attractive. Xianxia took out the green dragon demon-slain broadsword and then pressed them on the table. "This table is not strong enough. Let's change it to another table." Dongfang Jing and Shen Lingling anxiously cleaned up the immortal fruit on the table and then moved the wooden table away. In place of a circular metal table, this table was a specially crafted forging table. "Can you be a little bigger?" Chun Xiang didn't think that they were originally just chatting. Who knew that in the end, they would develop into research on these divine weapons. Lu Menger controlled the forging table to become larger. Chun Xiang placed the green dragon demon-slain broadsword on top of it, then let the green dragon demon-slain broadsword grow larger. This way, they could clearly see the spirit grain on top of it. "Oh yeah, I still have 5-7 dragons sword with me." Chun Xiang took out the Holy Dragon Sword, Fire Dragon Sword, Azure Dragon Sword, Thunder Dragon Sword, and Ice Dragon Sword. "This should be useful to you guys, right?" "Great." Dongfang Jing's eyes lit up as he lovingly played around with them. Dongfang Jing and Shen Lingling were also very excited. The 2 of them had already been pulled into the smithing list, and were extremely fond of smithing. Seeing these famous holy weapons, they would inevitably be excited, and even more so, this was their brother. "Shui Yi should be able to help you find the White Dragon Sword. As for the Tianlong Sword, it might be in the hands of the Heavenly Dragon Races." Dongfang Xinyue waved the green dragon sword, caressing the body of the sword. He felt the spirit grain above. Lu Menger looked at these holy dragon swords and sighed with emotion. She never thought that Chen Xiang would be able to get 5 of them by himself. So the Tianlong sword are hard to get. It was a little regretful on Lu Menger's face, but it was the same for the other girls. Could be seen that they all wanted to copy the 7 Dragons sword. That's not it. It's because Heavenly Dragon Race is not a real Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord. The corners of Chan Xiang's mouth curled up as he smiled lightly. The real Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord is that White Dragon. She should know the whereabouts of the Tianlong Sword and the White Dragon Sword. When Long Shui first came to find Lang Yulan, he got to know a few girls very well. They all knew of Long Shui's name and had a good impression of him. It's really just as those Ice Dragon grandfathers said. In all of 9 emperors and 5 venerables, the only one who is a woman is the Heavenly Dragon Supreme Lord. Dongfang Jing said. Chun Xiang immediately wanted to ask Long Shui about the whereabouts of the White Dragon Sword and Tianlong Sword. However, he was currently looking at the few women chattering about how to imitate these holy swords, and he knew that these swords had some special properties that he couldn't see through before. Instead, they were able to learn quite a few things. In just a day's time, Lu Menger and the others had already analyzed the many difficulty in refining the Azure Dragon Sword, drawing a relatively simple blueprint. What was next was to enrich the blueprint a little, then after completing it they would go to collect the refining materials and then start to refine it. Analyzing this kind of complex sacred sword was a very tiring task. In their minds, they had to calculate a large number of spirit grain to coordinate with it. After going on for an entire day, they all felt very tired. Only now did they remember that Chun Xiang was just beside them, and he even seemed to have fed them a lot of fruit. It was just that they were too serious and ignored Chun Xiang. Dongfang Jing and Shen Lingling had already returned to their room. They were sleeping together. Dongfang Xinyue glanced at Chen Xiang with her charming eyes, and also returned to her own room. When Xianxia and Lu Menger saw Chen Xiang's expression, they knew what Chen Xiang wanted to do. "Let's go together." Chen Xiang laughed sinisterly. Although Xianxia and Lu Menger were already his people, they had yet to sleep together with him. When he thought about being together with this pair of beautiful master and disciple, Chen Xiang's blood boiled. No! Although Lu Menger and Xianxia had been sleeping together the entire time and the two of them were extremely close to each other, the guide still felt a little shy. Didn't care about them at all. He opened his arms and forcefully carried them into the bathroom. Even though Xianxia and Lu Menger were slightly unwilling, they had already known that such a thing would happen. Ah! Chen Xiang hugged the two girls and placed his hands on the soft spots on their bodies. He sighed in admiration. This pair of beautiful girls resisted for a long time inside the bath just now. Lu Menger's face was slightly flushed. She used to bathe together with Xianxia and the other girls often, and had long gotten used to it. It's just that this time, there was another Chen Xiang and his hands were very dishonest. I wonder how that last Xiangyue is doing now. I heard that she and Xianxian are in Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Chen Xiang chuckled. If little girl Xiangyue was here too, that would be interesting. Little scoundrel. Lu Menger and Xianxian snorted lightly, and at the same time, used their power to pinch the flesh on his body. The one in the bowl is still thinking about the one in the pot. Although she felt a little embarrassed at the moment, she was still very happy to be able to accompany Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang laughed sinisterly. I haven't eaten yet, elder sister Menger. Are you in such a hurry for me to eat you? Xianxian carried Chen Xiang. Her jade-like hands lightly patted the surface of the water and made a few splashes. Little scoundrel, after you finish eating us, I guarantee that you won't have the strength to eat other people. Chen Xiang laughed out loud, then forcefully carried the two girls out of the bath and towards the large bed. At the same time, he released a warm wave of heat to dry off the water droplets on their bodies. Not long after, the shy moans and curses of the two girls echoed in the charming room with occasional moans. Chen Xiang was very strong, and Xianxia and Lu Menger didn't really know what to think of him before either. But after training with Chen Xiang for a short period of time, they finally understood that Chen Xiang was much stronger than they imagined. Chen Xiang caressed the two women's cheeks. Looking at their beautiful faces, he couldn't help but sigh tenderly. Then he kissed on their foreheads, put on some clothes and got off the bed. Walking out of the room, Chen Xiang saw Dongfang Xinyue sitting in the hall wearing a black night attire. When she saw Chen Xiang, she made a shu gesture. What are you doing out here in the middle of the night? Dongfang Xinyue asked in a low voice. Isn't it because you're here? What are you doing here? Chen Xiang chuckled. Big sister Warm Moon. We seem to rarely have this kind of chance to be together alone. When Dongfang Xinyue saw Chen Xiang's glowing face and the smell of Xianxian's body, as well as an extremely ambiguous atmosphere, her face couldn't help but turn red. Of course she knew what Chen Xiang and the beautiful master and disciple were doing. Scoundrel master, why are you not enjoying the two beauties inside? What are you planning on doing with me? Dongfang Xinyue spat out. In her hand was a stack of paper, which was filled with drawings of spirit grayness. Warm Moon, do you spend more time with Xiangyu? You are becoming more and more similar to her. Chen Xiang carried her and sat on her chair, then placed her on his lap. I'm your female slave. I haven't served you for many years, so I'm very ashamed. I want to make it up to you. You won't blame me, right? Dongfang Xinyue's beautiful eyes were filled with seductiveness, and she slightly squinted. Of course not. You just need to stay with Xianxian and the others. What's more, you're Jingjing's aunt, and she's my recognized sister. Chen Xiang laughed as he touched her beautiful oval face. Then I'm your aunt too. Dongfang Xinyue chuckled, her delicate hands caressing Chen Xiang's handsome face. A sense of warmth and love suddenly welled up in her heart. Call me auntie. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. Auntie. Chen Xiang chuckled. Good girl, my little master. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. then jumped away from Xianxia's embrace and placed the stack of papers on the table. Dongfang Xinyue unfurled the papers, and his expression became serious. I couldn't fall asleep, so I recalled the contents of the 5 swords in the 7 Dragons' sword, and the spirit grain above were very similar to those in the Divine Book. I suspect that the refining method of the 7 Dragons' sword was also from that Divine Book. Then why are you wearing these clothes? Xianxia couldn't help but take a few more glances at her black, tight clothes. Dongfang Xinyue's figure was still quite attractive. Other than that, although there are only 5 7 Dragons' sword, those spirit grain were able to combine together. After careful analysis, I managed to obtain an incomplete map. Dongfang Xinyue took out 3 pieces of paper and put them together. On them were many complex and complicated spirit grains, but inside each piece of paper, there was a thick piece of paper that could be linked together with the thicker portions of other papers. Then how can you be sure that this is a map? Do you know where this place is? There isn't any indication of where it is. Why don't you find Meng Er and the others to discuss it? Xianxia said. Earlier, you were enjoying yourselves, so I didn't want to disturb you. But now let's go and have a look. I know which direction to go. That place isn't dangerous. It's just within the boundaries of a force. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. Dongfang Xinyue took out a map. This was Tian's map. Xianxia could immediately tell at a glance. Take a look at the routes on these 3 pieces of paper. They look very similar to the routes on the map. Dongfang Xinyue said somewhat excitedly. Xianxia took a closer look and confirmed that they were indeed similar. Furthermore, they were all waterways, great rivers that had existed since a long time ago, so it had not changed even up till now. Although we are still short of 3, I believe that the final indication should be the source of this great river. Dongfang Xinyue placed her jade fingers on the map, on a desert. Xianxia said, I have never been to this place before, but I have heard that it is very magical. It is the source of a large river, but it is very desolate. This place is now called the Sand Demon. There are a lot of sand monsters in the desert, but their overall strength is not that great, just that there are more of them and there are many sand cities built there. There are also a lot of humans inside. The source is the forbidden area of the Sand Demon. We have to infiltrate it and then enter into the source to investigate. Dongfang Xinyue said, I can complete it by myself. It would be best if you could accompany me there. Dongfang Xinyue really wished that Xianxia could go with her. So he pouted his lips and shook Xianxia's arm. Will you be back before dawn? Xianxia looked at the door to Lu Menger's room. Even if they don't come back, they won't be jealous. I'm your slave, so it's normal for me to be with you. They didn't mind for a long time. Dongfang Xinyue laughed with a deeper meaning. All right, let's leave a message here first. Xianxia took out a jade talisman and handed it over to Dongfang Xinyue, telling her to record what happened on it. If they didn't come back, Lu Menger and the others would know what happened. After Dongfang Xinyue finished, she made Xianxia change his appearance, while she herself made a simple disguise to make herself look less conspicuous. I plan to accompany you for a few days, then go back to busy myself with other matters. It's best if you come back quickly. Xianxia was pulled out of the cave by Dongfang Xinyue. Although you often don't come back to them, they can understand your situation. They won't blame you. Dongfang Xinyue took out a jade tablet, passed through many entrances to the enchantments, and arrived at a square that was filled with transmission arrays. This was the transmission array that the Ice Dragon Villa had built themselves. Through this transmission array, Dongfang Xinyue and Xianxia arrived at the Sky Sand City inside the Sand Demon Realm. Just as he arrived, Xianxia frowned, because there was a sandstorm and sand was flying everywhere. In the darkness of the night, it seemed even more oppressive. This heavenly sand city is too simple and crude. There is actually no grand formation to protect the city, and the sandstorms are wreaking havoc everywhere. There were still a few hours until daybreak, and there weren't many inns that opened their doors that night. Although the environment here is very bad, there are a lot of genius treasures here, especially the high-quality materials for artifact forging. Even the materials for Holy Level S have appeared before. I often come here to buy materials. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. This sandstorm has a gap. It will stop very soon. You have all used up the refining materials that I had little Lizzie and my master bring you. Xianxia asked. If you don't have it, I will think of a way to get some for you. It will be hard to come out all day to look for materials. It's no trouble at all. Collecting rare and precious materials is also a type of pleasure. Dongfang Xinyue stuck out his tongue coarsely. It's just that sometimes spars are a little lacking. Your smithing materials are quite high, so they're the most suitable to be used to make saint weapons. However, you don't need that many saint weapons right now, and refining them is also very tiring. You only refine them when you need them, so there's still a lot to be used. Dongfang Xinyue held Chen Xiang's arm and intimately sat inside the inn with Chen Xiang, waiting for the sandstorm to pass. Chen Xiang pinched her face and laughed. If only Xiangyue was here too. Shuangxiang. Shuangyu, you two are such a perfect match. Perhaps it's because of that master-servant contract, but we've always wanted to follow you. Dongfang Xinyue leaned on Chen Xiang and said gently, How about I untie it for you? Chen Xiang said, Is the master-servant contract a hindrance to you guys? No, that's good. I think it's not wrong to have this mysterious connection with your soul. Dongfang Xinyue chuckled. I'm just different from the other women. As the sandstorm stopped, Dongfang Xinyue led Chen Xiang out of the city and into the Sand Demon Clan's territory. Looking from afar, they could see that there were many tall mountains ahead of them. It's been built over many years just like the Termite Mountain. It's very strong, and the tunnels inside also form many spirit grains, giving these sand mountains a natural defense, which is very magical. Last time when Menger and I entered these sand mountains, we learned a lot of things. Dongfang Xinyue said. Dongfang Xinyue and Lu Menger's relationship was very good, and they were as close as sisters. They had often studied the various spirit grain formations together, as well as artifact forging the same way as Xianxia. At the moment, Dongfang Xinyue had only turned into a saint not too long ago, and was not very strong, but her attainments in artifact forging was very high. Chen Xiang held Dongfang Xinyue's soft jade hand, and released a divine power to investigate her body. After sensing it, Dongfang Xinyue frowned, but did not resist. What are you looking at inside my body? Dongfang Xinyue asked. Nothing. I just feel that you and Jingjing shouldn't be so weak. Chen Xiang said. The Dongfang family and the Vermilion Bird had a close relationship back then, so as the descendants of the Dongfang family, they shouldn't be so weak. Xianxia and Lu Menger's current strength far exceeded theirs. The Vermilion Bird had been killed by the White Tiger, but the White Tiger had also died. However, the Vermilion Bird should have been reborn, and experts at its level should have been able to do so as well. That silly girl Jingjing is very innocent and did not put in all her effort to cultivate. Her strength is not very strong, which is normal, but back then you and elder sister Menger were equally strong. But now you are lagging behind her by so much, that's why I feel that it's a little strange. You don't mind if I check your body, do you? Chen Xiang said again. Dongfang Xinyue lowered his head, obviously considering whether to tell Chen Xiang something. Chen Xiang kissed her red lips and laughed. If this is your secret, then you don't have to tell me. Dongfang Xinyue nodded his head. You are my master, so I shouldn't have any secrets about you. I will tell you when we return from this place. I think this place is related to me. Why don't we talk while we walk? Your Dongfang family has some relationship with the Vermilion Bird. I know that the White Tiger went crazy and killed the Vermilion Bird. Now that the White Tiger has been revived, the Vermilion Bird should be in the 9 heavens as well. Chen Xiang said. You know quite a lot. Dongfang Xinyue said softly. Then, he brought Chen Xiang and walked within a few of the more hidden short mountains. They floated and avoided stepping on the sand to the best of his abilities, in order to avoid alerting the sand demon. Chen Xiang followed behind Dongfang Xinyue and asked in a low voice. Between you and Jingjing, there was the rebirth of a Vermilion Bird. Dongfang Xinyue laughed. Of course not. If we are the reincarnation of a Vermilion Bird, we should be very strong. We only have the Vermilion Bird's bloodline, so our ancestors were highly regarded by the Vermilion Bird. Thus, the Vermilion Bird bestowed a Vermilion Bird blood pellet to our ancestors. In other words, you shouldn't have only this kind of strength. Chen Xiang said. Dongfang Jing did not wholeheartedly pursue strength. but her strength was still incomparable to many others. Therefore, her talent was not bad. What? Do you despise me for being weak? Dongfang Xinyue purposely revealed a resentful expression. Of course not. Xianxia laughed. As they spoke, they arrived at a huge mountain. The mountain was not high, but the area it covered was very wide. It was like a semicircle covering the ground, comparable to several huge cities. This is the place where the defenses of the Sand Demon clan are the strictest. Dongfang Xinyue said. I heard the sound of water flowing. The source of the river should be here. Xianxia was also suddenly very curious. This was the source of that large river. It should be filled with the fragrance of birds and flowers. But it was filled with sand and rocks all day. It was not angry at all, it was so dry everywhere. Dongfang Xinyue and Xianxia were hiding in a cave inside a small mountain. She suddenly shouted, "The sandstorm is coming!" Just as Dongfang Xinyue finished speaking, he saw the outside of the cave turn blurry and blurry. The gigantic mountain in front of him was actually the source of the sandstorm. It was simply too strange. Countless sand sprayed out from inside. But why was it the source of a large river? The sandstorm here is very strong. It's best not to get too close. I heard that this sand was spat out by the Sand Demon Emperor, and it's able to sense the source of the river. Dongfang Xinyue was so familiar with all this, it was obvious that he had done a very thorough investigation. Warm Moon, take the chance to talk about the reason why you are here. I did not discover your dantian in your body just now. You did not cultivate the divine way to merge your dantian into the divine sense C, right? Xianxia asked. Of course not, I was cultivating in the vermilion bird bloodline. I only changed my cultivation after I became a saint, and the ancient books of the clan mentioned it, so our dantians have already fused with our bloodlines. Our cultivation method is rather strange, and at the beginning it was very slow, but once our bloodlines stabilized, our progress will increase by leaps and bounds. Dongfang Xinyue laughed complacently. At that time, I might be even more powerful than you. In truth, back then the vermilion bird's body was destroyed. Her soul is still here, and as someone who cultivates the divine way, you should know that without a physical body, there is no need for her soul to be reincarnated. And what about her now? Xianxia asked curiously. I don't know. I think she should be in the sacred water heavenly realm. This is a memory inheritance that appeared continuously after Jingjing and I cultivated in the vermilion bird's bloodline. Dongfang Xinyue said, I feel that the source of this great river in front of us is very likely the entrance to the sacred water heavenly realm. Although the vermilion bird is a fire-attributed holy beast, she needs a lot of life energy. 9 Heaven World was surrounded by the endless heavenly regions and he was just one of them. However, he did not have any thoughts towards 9 Heaven World, unlike the other 5 heavenly regions, where great Yanjing had already sold his soul to him. Just based on this, you can determine that the vermilion bird grandmaster is inside. Xianxia felt that it was a bit unreliable. Don't tell me we are going to enter the sacred water heavenly realm. I'll go in. You just need to help me enter. I'll take care of myself there. There's something wrong with my vermilion bird bloodline. Only the vermilion bird can help me. Dongfang Xinyue said, if I had come here myself, it would not be that easy for me to enter the sacred water heavenly realm from that source. Xianxia said, how can that be? It's too dangerous for you to go alone. I'll accompany you. Dongfang Xinyue shook his head. No, accompany Menger and the rest. If they know that I took you away, they would scold me. No, how can I let you go to such a dangerous place by yourself? You haven't been to those heavenly realms, right? There are a lot of saint beasts inside. Xianxia was very determined. How about we go back now and greet them? They will definitely agree. No need. I saved them very quickly. Rest assured. Dongfang Xinyue suddenly pouted. Master, please. Let me go alone, please. Dongfang Xinyue hugged Xianxia's arm in a spoiled manner. Seeing her like this, Xianxia sighed, drooped his head and hugged her tightly to his chest, picking up that sweet tongue of hers and twisting it around her. Seeing Xianxia take the initiative to kiss her, Dongfang Xinyue's face was filled with joy, and he also took the initiative to kiss Xianxia. She seemed to have waited a long time, The unrefined her seemed a little rough. The sandstorm stopped and the two of their lips parted. Dongfang Xinyue's beautiful eyes were filled with gentleness and charm as she chuckled, "Master, wait for me to come back." With Xiangyue, Chunxiang's heart skipped a beat. These two beautiful female slaves were too nice to him at the moment, and he couldn't take it anymore. "Take these. Be careful when you get there." Chunxiang took out a jade bottle. "This is a bottle of Buendan, this is a jade dragon flower, and this jade tablet also contains a strand of my soul. If you encounter any danger, you can practice with me in time." Dongfang Xinyue's cheeks flushed red. She was a little excited. She never thought that Chunxiang would give her so many good things. "If I don't need it, I'll return it to you." Dongfang Xinyue happily accepted these things. At this moment, she could feel the deep love Chunxiang had for her. "Give me another kiss, we're leaving soon." Dongfang Xinyue squinted his eyes and pouted slightly, making Chunxiang unable to let go of his words. He immediately moved his mouth closer to her. The two of them left the cave and walked towards the huge mountain in front of them. "How are you going to get in?" Chunxiang asked. "Do you have any plans?" Dongfang Xinyue said, "Directly entering Mount Sha would cause no small amount of trouble. Let's enter from the river." "Let's go." Chunxiang pulled Dongfang Xinyue and took a step forward using his shrinking step. At the same time, he used his spatial footwork and arrived at a large river that was flowing very quickly. The great river surged forward in an overwhelming manner, and it was not easy to go against the current and enter the source. "The current is very urgent," Dongfang Xinyue exclaimed as he looked at the waters of the river that continued to gush out from the gigantic mountain of sand. "Don't be afraid. Leave it to me." Chunxiang chuckled as he jumped into the river while hugging Dongfang Xinyue. After entering the water, he was not washed away by the river water because he had used the power of space to create a spatial barrier and isolate himself from the water currents. It was pitch black below him. Dongfang Xinyue held onto Chunxiang's waist with one hand and took out a night light pearl with the other, looking around. The amount of life force in this water isn't much. Could it be that it was all absorbed by the vermilion bird? Dongfang Xinyue frowned. "This has been created by a dead desert. Maybe the source has a strong suction force that is devouring the life force." Chunxiang also noticed this point. This water had just come out from the sacred water heavenly realm. Its life force was very weak. There was not even a little bit of Holy Spirit chi in it. It was as if it had been filtered out. "Let's go in." Chunxiang carried Dongfang Xinyue and walked a few steps in the water, quickly entering the desert. Although he couldn't see it, Chunxiang used his divine power to feel it. There was a bottomless black hole in front of him, and it wasn't the kind that went deep underground. It was the type with a large opening in space, where water gushed out from. Just as Dongfang Xinyue had guessed, the water in this large river came from another dimension. It had been like this for many years, where the majority of Dtion's water came from. "Let me in." Dongfang Xinyue wanted to struggle free from Chunxiang, but Chunxiang held onto her tightly. "I'll bring you in, then I'll come out again." Previously, he said that Dongfang Xinyue would enter by himself, but after arriving here, seeing that the entrance was such a dangerous place, Chunxiang did not dare to allow Dongfang Xinyue to enter by himself. Chunxiang, who could control the power of space, was the safest and most convenient person to enter the heaven realm. He jumped into the entrance, and after traveling through space a few times, he arrived at a stretch of water. "Is this the sacred water heavenly realm? Look over there." Dongfang Xinyue and Chunxiang were inside the same chi barrier, isolating the water outside. Chunxiang looked in the direction Dongfang Xinyue pointed. There was a gigantic black hole there, and a large amount of water was gushing towards it. "We'll talk about it from here." Chunxiang felt a weak suction force. If he did not isolate space, perhaps they would have been sucked in long ago. After a few spatial jumps, Chunxiang and Dongfang Xinyue finally arrived at the shore. Here, they were on a small island with boundless water as far as the eye could see. "It's just like what I imagined. There's water everywhere. I didn't expect there would be an island." Chunxiang sat on the shore and threw a rock far away. "Auntie, you train in fire. In this sort of place, you are really dangerous." Xianxia said. Quickly go back. I really can handle it. I'm thinking of ways to find the vermilion bird. I'll see if I can use my vermilion bird bloodline to detect her existence. Dongfang Xinyue sat on top of a rock with his eyes closed. Xiang walked over, kissed her lips and said, "Then be careful." "Got it." Dongfang Xinyue opened her eyes and pouted. Xiang sighed, and immediately teleported back to the Ice Dragon Villa. As long as he had been to the Heaven Realm before, he would subconsciously sense the space there. Next time, he wouldn't need to record down the location, he could teleport through the spatial teleportation. When they returned, the sky was already bright. The few women had already woken up and were looking at the messages Xiang and Dongfang Xinyue left them in the hall. Lu Menger saw that Xiang had returned alone, and anxiously asked, "Where's Warm Moon? Is she not with you?" Dongfang Jing was a little worried that he didn't see his aunt. Xianxia told them everything that had happened from beginning to end, making Xianxia and Lu Menger scold him. "Just be at ease and leave her alone." Xianxia scoffed. "It's too dangerous. She's not very strong, and the heavenly realm is so scary." "That's right, quickly go back and find her. If something happens, how are you going to explain it to Jing Er?" Lu Menger patted Xiang's shoulder. Xiang said with a helpless expression, "She was the one who told me to come back. She said she was worried that you guys would say that she kidnapped me, and I also said that I wanted to stay there to accompany her. But she insisted that I come back." Xiang glanced at Dongfang Jing and noticed that his eyes seemed to flicker, as if he knew something. Jing, do you know something?" Xiang asked. I can't say." Dongfang Jing was very simple. She was not very good at lying. Right now, she was hesitating and stuttering, and felt that it would be very difficult for her to hide what Xiang wanted to know. Seeing that Dongfang Jing's innocent face was filled with melancholy and difficulty, Xiang laughed and patted her head. "Don't say it. It's okay. Jing Er, can you tell us if she's safe there?" Lu Menger and Dongfang Xinyue's relationship was very good, and from Long Huishan, she found out that the Heaven Realm was very terrifying, so she was very worried about Dongfang Xinyue. "Auntie will be fine. Don't worry," Dongfang Jing said. "Yes, Warm Moon is not here. Now that your scoundrel brother is back, we will rest for a few days and not refine any equipment for the time being." Xianxia laughed and touched Dongfang Jing's face. She liked this little sister very much. Even though Xianxia had said that she and Lu Menger were still extremely busy. They were anxious to analyze the 5 holy swords and the spirit grain S on top of the green dragon demon-slain broadsword, and they did not allow Shen Lingling and to participate, nor did they allow them to gather with Xiang properly. They did not really care, as long as they knew that Xiang was alright over these past few years, it was enough for them to see him. Inside the Ice Dragon Villa, the mountain that Lu Menger and the others resided in was the center of the mountain where the artifact forging took place, and there was also a small villa on the mountain. Xiang, Dongfang Jing, and the others were currently playing around on the mountain, and Xiang would occasionally brag about the stories between him and the great emperors. When he got tired of playing, Xiang gave some fruit juice to his 2 little sisters. At that moment, while they were resting and chatting inside a pavilion, they suddenly felt a strong sword chi approaching them. Just when Xiang was extremely vigilant, Dongfang Jing and Shen Lingling cheered, "It's little sister!" The little girl that they were talking about was Mu Qianxiang. Mu Qianxiang was the youngest. Their eldest sister was Long Huishan. Their second sister was Lang Yulan, and third brother was Dongfang Jing. Mu Qianxiang received the Sword Emperor's inheritance, which was why he reacted now. "Brother, look at the sword." Hearing Mu Qianxiang's shout, Xiang reached out and then grabbed onto a soft jade hand. Mu Qianxiang had already arrived in front of him, stuck his tongue out and laughed. "If I had a sword, I would definitely be able to chop off a handful of your hair. Wild girl, you fought and killed as soon as you saw her. If you were with Yulan, I don't think you would be able to calm down during those few days." Xiang laughed and scolded. He pinched her jade face and pulled out a piece of meat. Mu Qianxiang looked pure and gentle, giving off a gentle and virtuous feeling. However, a mischievous glint frequently flashed in her eyes, and when she moved it rough, it was as if she was a crazed, wild girl. She was a gentle, inner-minded woman, but Lang Yulan was intrepid and domineering both internally and externally. Sister Xianxia and Sister June often fought, and sometimes from morning till night, Sister Xianxia and elder Sister Menger wouldn't be able to persuade them. In the end, only Sister Xianxia was able to stop them. Shen Lingling laughed. Ling Ling, we haven't seen each other for a while. Come over for a few moves. Mu Qianxiang pinched Shen Lingling's small face and said with a mischievous smile. Seeing Mu Qianxiang asking that, Shen Lingling anxiously hid behind Xianxiang. It seemed that these two little girls were often training partners with Lang Yulan and Mu Qianxiang. Look for Big Brother. Big Brother is pretty amazing. We can't even exchange a few blows with you. Dongfang Jing laughed. Mu Qianxiang curled his lips. Then forget it. I and my elder brother won't even be able to exchange a few blows. Even my master admits that he's no match for me. But my master's father will definitely be able to beat him. Her master's father was the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable. It would be strange if he couldn't defeat Xianxiang. Little sister, why are you here? Didn't you say last time that you were prepared to participate in some large gathering to compete in swords? Shen Lingling asked, and then took out the juice Xianxiang had given her, and handed it over to Mu Qianxiang. When Mu Qianxiang sat down, he grabbed a few fruits and stuffed them into his mouth. Only now did Xianxiang remember that Mu Qianxiang's appetite was the same as Long Xue's. Big Sis said that she had something important to do. She passed by the Hundreds of Flowers Palace and told me that Big Bro was here secretly. So I came over. As Mu Qianxiang spoke, he had already eliminated all the immortal fruits. Shen Lingling and Dongfang Jing were already used to it. They all secretly laughed, because they knew that Xianxiang needed to take out a lot of food to satisfy his appetite. About that, I'm not interested in the sword competition, but Master insisted that I participate, and the old hall master also wants to see my sword art. Mu Qianxiang sighed helplessly. The old hall master said that the sword emperor might not appear again for 9 days, so the future sword emperor might very well be me. Dongfang Jing was pleasantly surprised. So you're saying that I have a younger sister, the sword emperor. When I go out in the future, I don't need to be so worried about being bullied anymore. Mu Qianxiang laughed. Right now, no one dares to bully you. Xianxiang asked. The old hall master is currently in Hundreds of Flowers Palace. No, he's in the devil-suppressing divine palace. He just comes here often to teach us how to cultivate the devil-suppressing method. Mu Qianxiang said. Now that little Lizzie has already been taken in as his disciple, from today onwards, the devil-suppressing divine palace may be under little Lizzie's control, but my master will continue to build up her Hundreds of Flowers Palace. Xianxiang laughed. Little Lizzie is in charge of the devil-suppressing divine palace. When the time comes, I will go and mess with the divine palace protectors. I wonder if the devil-suppressing heavenly venerable will take back all the magic treasures I have on me. Mu Qianxiang scoffed. Brother, you aren't going to bully little Lizzie, are you? She seems to have said that you often tease her. Dongfang Jing and Shen Lingling instantly looked at Xianxiang with strange eyes. Dongfang Jing laughed softly. Big Brother is still so evil. Cough, cough. That's not teasing. I was just joking with her. Xianxiang coughed dryly a few times. He never thought that Dongfang Jing would still remember the meeting with him back then. Xianxiang was going to look for LV Chilean next, and it just so happened that he was able to learn a bit about LV Chilean's recent situation from him. He had just wanted to ask, but Mu Qianxiang asked Dongfang Jing, why did he say that Xianxiang was so bad? Xianxiang winked at Dongfang Jing, but Dongfang Jing didn't seem to understand, and told her about how Xianxiang peeked at her while she was bathing in the lake at night. At that time, he lied and said that she was a good person. Big Bro really isn't a good person. Back then, when she was in that forbidden area, Xianxiang had only said that he only had one wife. But in the end, she discovered that there were quite a few girls who had an intimate relationship with Xianxiang, and there were even a few in the Hundreds of Flowers Palace that had a very good relationship with Xianxiang. Shen Lingling and Dongfang Jing laughed while covering their mouths. Xianxiang looked at the two of them unhappily. Xianxiang, has your master been in closed-door cultivation recently? Xianxia asked. No, but she's been rather busy recently. She said that she wants to nurture a large number of medicinal ingredients and that our Hundreds of Flowers Palace has 2 very outstanding female alchemists. Mu Qianxiang said. At this time, Xianxia appeared out of nowhere and said while laughing, the 2 female alchemists that you mentioned are Qianxian and Sister Xianxia, right? Yeah. You guys are very familiar with each other. Mu Qianxiang knew that Xianxia recognized them, but he seemed to be extremely familiar with them. Xianxia glared at Xianxiang and said, ask this little scoundrel. Sister Xianxia is his female slave. He is Sister Xiangxia's junior master. Seeing Xianxia's jealous face, Mu Qianxiang finally understood. Xianxian, weren't you with elder sister Menger? Why did you suddenly come over? Xianxiang anxiously laughed, wanting to change the topic. Xianxia knew that he had a history of his own. He did not want his lofty image to be shattered in front of his little sisters. Xianxia laughed tenderly. Elder sister Menger told me to come up and watch you. Don't let me tell you to lie to my little sister. Seems like I came in time. Xianxiang spread his hands and said, all right, I am a bad guy. Dongfang Jing laughed. Could it be that it's not a little scoundrel? That's what big sister Xianxian calls you. Big brother scoundrel. Lingling also chuckled. Scoundrel. No wonder Sister Yulan often calls you that. Mu Qianxiang laughed. Xianxian laughed. All right, your scoundrel bro is still pretty good. At least I love you guys a lot. Even if he doesn't come back, he would always think of ways to give you guys food to eat. Mu Qianxiang was very much in favor of this point. As long as she was with Xianxiang, she would always be able to eat many delicious things. Brother, you asked about my master just now, and you're going to find her. Mu Qianxiang asked. No, I'm just asking. We had some conflicts before, but her dad came back this time. I was worried that she would cause trouble for me, so I wanted to find some time to talk to her. Xiang said. Xiang impersonating as the Hundreds of Flowers Heavenly Emperor and going against the Hundreds of Flowers Palace was something that everyone knew. However, Mu Qianxiang was very clear about the relationship between Xiang and LV Chilian, and in the past it was indeed not that good. However, ever since LV Chilian and little Lizzie came back from the sacred region, their attitude towards Xiang had changed drastically. I'll go back and ask her, Mu Qianxiang said. No need, I don't plan to see her for the time being. She's very busy right now, isn't she? Xiang anxiously pulled Mu Qianxiang. Xianxian seemed to be able to discern something. She did not expect Xiang and Flower Emperor to have some unknown relationship. Oh right, Xianxian. Have you guys received any Holy Spirit rabbit blood recently? Xiang asked. Yeah, there is one every once in a while. Didn't you give it to me as a gift? Xianxian looked at Dongfang Jing and Lingling. Jing and Lingling are also useful, you don't know. Strange, I also received it. I also thought that it was from my brother. Mu Qianxiang said. Xiang frowned. How often do you receive it? That Holy Spirit rabbit of his was given to Su Meiyao and her. They were still in the sacred grounds. Once a month, but we can't consume them all, so we gave some to Big Sis Long as well. Previously, she was only given 3 drops per month, but recently, she was given 10 drops per month. Xianxian said. If it wasn't you who gave it to him, then who would have given it to him? 10 drops a month, this was not a small amount. A Holy Spirit rabbit could only produce 2 or 3 drops like this every month. Even if Yao Shumi and the others gave it to them secretly, and kept this amount every month, they only had 3 Holy Spirit rabbits to give to Xianxian and the others. Xiang said, since my Holy Spirit rabbit was given to others, the ones who should be giving the God Holy Spirit rabbit blood to you all should be Mu Jialan and the other 2. If my guess is not wrong, the Holy Spirit rabbit in their hands must have multiplied a lot. Had long heard of this matter. She did not expect that the person who had gifted them with rabbit blood in the past few years would actually be Mu Jialan and the rest. They had always been wanted, and had only returned from the Demon Sky City after joining the Hundreds of Flowers Palace during this period of time. No wonder Master insisted on developing the Hundreds of Flowers Palace and gave up on inheriting it. If Jialan and the other 2 really have a large number of Holy Spirit rabbit, It would be of great help to our sisters in the Hundreds of Flowers Palace. If this continues, our bodies will become more and more powerful. Mu Qianxiang said. No wonder Master treats the three of them so well. Elder Sister Menger and I, by relying on this jade rabbit blood, will soon be able to cultivate body of heavenly sage. Xianxia nodded. It's a pity that the jade rabbit blood man can't use it. She'll turn into a woman. Xiang's eyes lit up. He felt that the reason the Holy Spirit rabbit could reproduce was probably because of LV Chilian's alive slain method. As Xianxia had mentioned earlier, it was because of the increase in blood from the Holy Spirit rabbit during this period. I wonder to what extent her mastery of the alive slain method has reached. Xiang yearned even more to be as powerful as LV Chilian. I need to go back and train with the sword. It won't be that easy to be the Sword Emperor. Mu Qianxiang was a little reluctant as he hugged and bid farewell to Shen Lingling and the others. Finally, he kissed Chen Xiang on the cheek and left the Ice Dragon Villa. Soon after, Xianxia also returned to the belly of the mountain and continued drawing the 7 dragons sword S with Lu Menger. In the evening, Chen Xiang was at the top of the mountain with Dongfang Jing and Shen Lingling, watching the sunset. They had originally planned to look at the stars, but Long Huishan's shout came from below and told them to go down immediately. To make a long story short, I went out to investigate an important matter. I understood that the actions taken by the 5 heavenly regions were not only directed at the evil dragon graveyard S, but also at Dtion and the entire 9 heaven world. Long Huishan said with a serious expression. The most recent major event was that the devil-killing summit S inside the Night Devil Hell had turned black. That's why we think that the devil-killing summit that has been suppressing the Night Devil Hell has already fallen. The Night Devil inside will soon take action and carry out a crazy massacre.